Well, hello. Welcome back to Survival Saturday with Johnny Tiger. The date is July 15th, and yes, I did almost trip over Wesley. I am not going to deny that. As I walked towards him, I tripped over his foot. But hey, that happens sometimes when you're blind, and which is why we want to practice martial arts because contrary to popular thought, martial art is not just for beating people up or choking people out. No, actually, the more immediate benefit you are going to get from your martial arts and self-defense is all the fringe benefit like balance and awareness and make you feel better at the end of the day and give you a confident boost and all that stuff, right? I mean, let's be honest about it. Unless you are really like in the really dangerous line of work, or if you are, sorry to say, just some kind of a-hole and you have a really abrasive personality, how many fights are you really going to get into in your lifetime? I have spoken to many, many, many people in my lifetime that they get to their 50s and 60s and 70s, and you ask them, how many fights have you ever had? And they say, none. Okay, none. We are not counting like elementary school, kindergarten kids fighting, right? But seriously, if you are an adult and you constantly get into fights, then I don't think self-defense is what you need to think about. I think some kind of anger management or some kind of behavior adjustment is really what going to work for you better than self-defense. Anyway, let's not ramble on too much because today, uh, and this is why I'm procrastinating because I really hate showing this. Today I'm going to show you guys how to buck. Read my lips. Buck. I'm not saying what you thought I was saying. I am saying B-U-C-K. So, why are we learning this? Because this just looks so sexualized and disgraceful and uncomfortable. And let me quickly say this. I might have to take my headset off, depending on how this goes. Because it is kind of easy for headset to fall off. But we'll see. I'll try to keep it on as long as I can. Okay. Bucking is when a person is on top of you, punching, choking, whatever they're doing, and they're sitting astride you like this, uh, or there's like any kind of like maybe they're leaning down like this, trying to smother you with their chest. I have guys that tried to do that to me before. Very, very annoying thing, right? So when a person is on top of you, one of the things that we learn in basic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is how to buck, because that is usually the quickest way to get out of it. Right? I mean, it's not a real person. It doesn't have all that, it doesn't weigh 200 pounds. So that was easy. I would not sit here and pretend that wasn't easy. But that gives you an idea why bucking is important. And a lot of the techniques you will learn in self-defense require you to at least know how to buck. So today we are going to take a look at this. So go off to one side. The easiest I can tell you how to buck. I mean, there are many, many ways to do this, but the most fundamental, basic, is like when you do your glute bridges. You bring your feet close to your butt with your knees bent. So you put your feet on the floor, close to your butt. You drive up as hard as you can. You drive down with your feet to lift your butt off the ground. Eh? Off the ground. And while you're doing that, you add some other stuff, whatever you need to do. Okay, so for example, we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but there's different things to do when you're bucking. Okay, depending on where the weight is of the person. Like if the person is sitting on your chest, then bucking this way is not going to be very helpful. Yeah, you can buck all day long if they're sitting on your chest. It's not going to move them. So this really only work if they're sitting on your belly or on your lower body. This bucking will work. Now, if they're sitting on your chest or trying to smother you, then you got to do something else. Um, so one thing that we see again and again with especially beginners, but there are some intermediate practitioners, even some high level guys, myself included, actually, let me tell you the truth, that are not extremely confident with bugging, not really good at it. And I don't mind admitting that. I'm okay with teaching this, but if you see me spar or fight, I very rarely will bug because I find the energy output versus the gain is often not worth it. Like if it is a 200-pound person sitting on top of me like this, right? Or a 300-pound person sitting on top of me like this, for me to lift my hip up to get them to fall off, that energy output, it's it takes so much energy to do that, and it might not even work. So, strictly speaking, from the self-defense point of view, if someone is sitting on top of me like this and trying to do things to me, it's much quicker for me to just punch them right in the groin. Okay, my hand is right here. Right? Even if I'm blocking their attack like this, it doesn't take much for me to just hammer down into the groin. Right? That is quicker for me. But we still want to learn how to buck because there are times, there will be times when you actually need it. And when you need it, you want it to work. So, what is it that make buck not work? How do we need to fine tune this to make it work? Because a lot of people have problem. I experience this with so many, especially new people. They'll go, ah, and, and like they do this for 5 minutes, and they're laying there, ah, and they're out of energy, they're out of breath, and the person on top is still on top, right? Okay, so how do we navigate? How do we alleviate that kind of embarrassing situation? And let's talk about that. Number one, when it comes to bucking, is you need to try your best not to telegraph it. And this one is hard because if the person on top is experienced, they know what's coming. The moment, like whenever I take someone to the ground, the moment I sit astride them, I automatically expect them to start bucking. It's like jumping on a wild horse. When you jump on, you kind of expect it. Okay, but be that as it may, as the person on the bottom, you want to try to buck when the least expected. So how do you do that? Well, one thing is to rather than so the person is on top, rather than doing this, bring my foot in, foot like that, bucking, because the moment I bring my foot in, he knows what's coming, right? The moment I bring my feet close to my butt, he can drop his weight down or he can put his hand down on my chest, right? And then my bucking is not going to work, okay, right? So from here, rather than doing something so obvious, I want to find a way to maybe distract him a little bit, like, uh, well, if he's on top, I might try to, what am I doing? I'm stomping on his feet. I'm stomping on his leg. I'm doing this. I'm not even moving my body that much. I'm just taking my feet and stomp, 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 stomp. See how I transform from stomping into bucking, right? That's that's just one of the various ways you can do to not telegraph this. Okay, this stomping, me stomping the hell out of the back of his leg, is going to distract him to the point where he doesn't react when I plant my foot down and buck up like that. Okay. Of course, there are other things to do, like you can start punching. Start punching. If you start punching, and he's worried about blocking your punch or trying to grab your hand, and suddenly you bring your leg in and buck, right? Then he doesn't sense it as much because human brain, we focus more on the immediate danger, the stomping foot or the punching fist, whatever. Okay? So do your best to not telegraph your bucking. Because the moment you telegraph it, when they're ready for it, it's not going to work unless you're super, super good. Okay? Number two is, and this is a biggie, this is really big, uh, because so many people fail on this one. Number two, don't second guess yourself. Don't second guess yourself. When you buck, you need to be decisive. You need to be snappy. So it should look like this. Right? Just bounce them right up like that. Right? It shouldn't look like, oh, right? It shouldn't look like that. There shouldn't be any slow motion about it. Okay? When you plant your foot, do your thing. That hip have to come off the ground. Even if the guy on top of you is 500 pounds, is 600 pounds, in your head, you need to be convinced that this is going to get off the ground. Okay? Think of your, think to yourself like Superman. Up, up, and away! Like that, right? So it's Superman. Doesn't go up, up, and away. No, you don't do it that way. Okay, so when you buck, like so many things in ground fighting and grappling, things need to be snappy, need to be decisive. When you do it, you do it. Even if your body can do it in your head, it's already done. Okay, there shouldn't be any second guessing in your head. Trust me. If you are second guessing yourself, this will never work. This will not work. Okay. Number three, number three, don't just bark once. This is another big thing that we run into with a lot of students. Is they'll do this. Okay? You're just wasting energy. That's not how you buck. Okay? You don't buck once, rest for 3 seconds, buck again, rest for 3 seconds. Right? If you buck, you need to you need to go nuts. I hate to put it this way, but once you start bucking, you need to literally turn yourself into that bucking bronco, that bucking horse. Okay? You just buck until you accomplish your goal. So bucking shouldn't be like, okay? Bucking should be like that, right? You keep bucking until you get somewhere. Once you start bucking, you just keep going, right? So don't rest and check your handiwork, right? Number four is always have a plan, okay? Follow through, follow through. When you buck, you a lot of time we are not actually thinking we can buck the person off of us. Again, this person might be 500 pounds, 400 pounds. Okay, so even though you are super good at it, you might not get them off of you. So what we're actually doing is looking for an opening. So if you don't have that plan in your head, if you don't think about follow through, when that opening come, you'll miss it, right? You'll miss it. And you just wasted a whole lot of energy. Now you're a lot weaker. They are a lot stronger. Okay? So when you bug, always have a plan in mind. Look for an opening. A lot of time when I bug, I don't actually get the person open me. What I end up doing when I bug is I'm looking for the moment the person go up like this. Okay, when the person sort of stand up, half crouched like this, because once I get that opening, I bug, what I do, I snake my arm between their legs, grab their side, and now I can drive them down to the side. I can get them off of me, right? Or just forearm bash right into the groin, right? So I'm waiting for them to expose their groin. I'm not actually trying to bug them off of me because I know I'm not very good at it. So always have a plan. Always follow through when you're bugging. Okay? So, quick recap. The 4 pointers I can give you how to fine tune your bugging is one, telegraph. Don't telegraph. Try to distract them by stomping on their leg or foot, by hitting them in the groin, punching, throwing punches, trying to grab their arm. Whatever you do, once you distract them, then you start bugging. Number two, number two, okay? Be convinced in your bugging. You need to be assertive. You need to be decisive, be snappy. So none of this slow motion stuff. You'll just end up wasting energy. Number three, don't just bug once. If you start bugging, keep bugging until you get that opening. The opening will happen. But that leads us to number four. When that opening happens, you need to know it to take advantage of it. So always have a plan. Always know what you're trying to think, what you're doing. Don't just bug for the sake of bugging because you'll end up wasting a whole lot of energy. Okay, I'm just bugging this 50 pound, 40, 50 pound training dummy. And he's not really choking me or anything, and I am like working up a really good sweat down here. So this is hard work. Okay, with a real opponent, it's even harder. So always have a plan. Huh? Don't waste too much energy on just bucking for the sake of bucking. Whew. With that, I think I'm going to go take myself a cold shower. Tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'm going to get around to Sausage Sunday. I'll try, but I might be quite busy tomorrow. So if I don't, I'll make it up to you guys Monday. By the way, Kitten is going to arrive on Monday. Yay! Very excited about that. So after Monday, if my schedule become a bit flaky and unpredictable, don't get mad at me. I will get to daily video as much as I can. Okay? With that said, have a good weekend.